Well, if you're Chris Murphy, you probably have no more fingernails after this last weekend, and there are probably a few more SEC fans in the same boat.
Love it.
Welcome to Third Saturday in October. You can find us online at thirdsaturdayinoctober.com, on social media at TSIO Pod, on Venmo at TSIO Pod if you want to support the show, and on buymeacoffee.com/TSIO Pod. This is your SEC Water Cooler podcast for the rest of us. I'm Bradley, back here with Jared. Jared, how are you?
I'm good, and I will say I didn't enjoy the Oklahoma victory over Tennessee, but I can't say I didn't. I can't say that was the same feeling against Alabama. I
Right.
really was surprised and a little bit proud of Venerables and Brent Venables, excuse me, and the Oklahoma Sooners being able to get that W against Alabama. Um, you know, in a perfect world, Tennessee would have won the previous week, and then Oklahoma would have beaten Alabama. But anyway,
Agreed.
that
Um,
said, yeah, had a good time this weekend. Good games. Um, yeah, lots to talk about actually. More than you'd think, given that it was, not a ton of games, but it was still some interesting stuff that's evolved from it. So,
yeah, I did not expect to have the weekend that we did. And going back to the whole Oklahoma thing, one thing that I don't like is the SEC. We tout that we are the best conference, and I fully believe that. But then you have two teams join from the Big 12, and I'm talking about Texas A&M and Missouri. Texas A&M is being beating Alabama out of the gate. Missouri is making the SEC championship game their first year in the SEC. Then you've
well,
got
in fairness, Missouri then after a year or two of some reasonable play in the SEC, they did go on to be what they have been, and then Eli Drinkowitz has recently kind of
yeah,
snapped them out of it, and they're more SEC worthy now. And Texas A&M certainly is SEC worthy, being the only unbeaten left. But I get where you're coming from.
yeah.
We want and feel like it's our duty to hate Oklahoma and Texas and not embrace them fully. And they're in the SEC whether we like it or not. So
Well, I'm
and
fine with
Oklahoma
them.
beat my Auburn Tigers and they beat your Tennessee Vols. So
Yeah,
I'm not pleased with either of those outcomes.
I just
I get it.
I'm fine with them being in the SEC. I don't want them to win,
Well,
but I also don't want
what we
Alabama
want
to
is
win.
not always what's happening, and it doesn't look like that's exactly playing out this season either. So,
Yeah.
but that said, it's nice to see competitive games in the SEC, and we did see some good ones this
W-
weekend. So,
we saw quite a few.
yeah.
Um, Texas A&M has to come from behind by 27 points.
Yeah, and that game is at Kyle Field. South Carolina, yes, they should have handled business, but dude, give Beamer a break, man. Those kids played their hearts out. They almost got a victory. And yes, there's no moral victories. We know that. But man, South Carolina, you can hate on them all you want, but they're a good team. They're a tough team, and Beamer should not be going anywhere.
No.
If South Carolina would be just absolute crazy to get rid of him because he is a very good coach, and you cannot base that result on whether or not he's your guy. I think South Carolina maybe hasn't had the season they hoped for, and I get it being an Auburn fan, but
No, I mean
you have a
they're a
really
couple
good head
plays
coach.
away
Yeah.
from
Dude,
going
you almost beat A&M, and you almost, yeah, I know almost doesn't count, but it is what it is. But
no, but I mean you're a couple plays away from beating A&M.
yeah, if that game was in, at Columbia, it might have been a
It may have
different
been different.
outcome. Yeah.
Um, that's not the only close game they've had this year. I mean, they could have easily been 5-5 at this point. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
maybe 6-4. Like it's been very close for South Carolina a couple times this year. Um, and sometimes that's just how it happens.
It's not fun, and being an Auburn fan, I mean, I feel the pain with you, South Carolina. I do,
I mean,
believe me.
t
But
ten,
but but you have a good coach, and you have players that are playing their hearts out for you, and do your best to show some love and appreciation to that, because yeah, you can't win them all, and this may not be South Carolina's season, but I think South Carolina's got a lot to be proud of.
yeah.
So
I mean, Tennessee fans, again, no moral victories, but
yeah.
with a quarterback that came in May,
Hmm.
receivers that were unproven, running backs that were unproven, and a remade offensive line, um, plus losing a whole lot of talent on defense, including the two best, the best cornerback duo in the country. You're you're a handful of plays away from being 9-1 right now.
Well, and Tennessee, even given the current situation, they're still ranked in the top 25. They're,
Yeah, like
I mean, it's not like you guys have just fallen off the wagon and oh
right.
Lord, what happened to Tennessee? Like Tennessee is in a great position moving forward,
Yeah,
and um, what could have been a season that collapsed has not, and
right.
and yeah,
They
I'm proud of Tennessee.
yeah.
I don't
Um
mind saying it.
they've shown a lot of fight. And again,
Yeah, I think that's a tribute to Heupel and your players. Your
yeah.
players are not just you know laying down. Good for
No,
them.
they're not. There are a couple things that I would say need to be cleaned up.
Well, sure.
Um that kind of expose himself again at against New Mexico State, even though we won 42-9. Um, Joey Aguilar still trying to force too many things. And somebody said this on the radio today. Is he trying to force so many things because the run game isn't where it has been? And this is something that came up in talks with other Tennessee fans. I said we can't run the ball like we want to. They said,
Hmm.
we must not be watching the same game because they can run the ball.
Right.
It Deshaun Bishop is having a a great year, but there are two other running backs, and I don't know if this is um the NIL way of kind of scratching everybody's itch. The way Tennessee does it is Deshaun Bishop has a series, Peyton Lewis has a series, and then Star Thomas has a series. And it kind of doesn't matter how each of them's playing. They just keep rotating that way. Where Deshaun Bishop should be getting the bulk of the carries at this point. He's proven himself, and he kind of had the hot hand on Saturday, but they keep swapping out the next series. I get wanting to keep fresh legs in the game, but it's something where you kind of got to ride him for a half and then let the other two guys split halves or split carries in the second half. Anyways, Tennessee's averaging about 50 yards per game less than they did a year ago, um, which is a hit. They've gone from number one in the SEC in rushing to, I believe, seventh. It's a big drop off. Um,
Yeah.
but just some of those things like to clean up the penalties, um, get that cleaned up because going on the road to Florida, I know Florida has has not had the season they want, but it's still Florida who still believes even in terrible years they can beat Tennessee, and it's in the swamp. Um, and then you got Vanderbilt coming to town, and they're no slouch. So we will see. Um,
Yeah, pretty awesome.
but that's Tennessee this week. Let's go back. Oklahoma, Alabama. Um, that game. I mean, pretty back and forth. Alabama at home. You're thinking, oh, at home, black hoodie. That they're not losing, and Oklahoma was able to pull it off there at the end. Um, Impressive what Mateer has been able to do post hand injury when right after that surgery to fix his hand, he was not playing his best football. And that's what had me believing that Tennessee was going to win that game against Oklahoma. And he ended up like that game was kind of the game he came back out and cemented himself as the guy he was the first half of the year.
Yeah.
Um, and he did it again against Alabama. Um, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the game. Do you have anything more you wanted to add other than
Uh,
as an Auburn Tiger, it was a great sight to see.
well, this puts Auburn in a unique position to really put a put a hurting on Alabama's season. So if for some reason Alabama can't beat Auburn at Auburn in the Iron Bowl, that would be their third loss, and that would potentially mean they don't get into the playoff. And you have to understand, as an Auburn fan, that's all the ammunition you need right now, given how bad this season's gone, given, the losses, firing Hugh Freeze, um, just the pain and anguish of this season and the last several seasons, to know now we're in a position where if you watch the Vanderbilt game versus Auburn, you saw Auburn's offense start to find itself and scored 38. It wasn't enough to beat Vandy, but if you can run the ball and you can have an offense against Alabama and your defense can be what it's been most of the season, with exception of Vanderbilt, you can potentially beat Alabama at home. And so that would potentially ruin their season in the sense that they don't go to the playoff. And as an Auburn fan, you're wanting that more than turkey, more than you know, any side, dish that
That
comes
would be the
at the
best Christmas
Thanksgiving meal.
gift
That would
ever.
that would be the ultimate Thanksgiving. It would be. There's nothing more to be thankful for than Auburn upsetting Alabama season. So as an Auburn fan, that's my hope. I
Yeah.
don't pretend that's going to happen given all that's happened, but why not? Why not Auburn? Man, that would be a wonderful way to go out. Because it doesn't look like it. Should we win the last two games, I think we would be bowl eligible and we'd go to the Bradley Minigan, the TSIO Bowl, which
I
is
Hey,
you know,
that'd be awesome.
yeah, that would
Um,
be awesome for us. But
pl
you know what I'm
played in my
talking about.
backyard.
Yeah, exactly. It would be the backyard bowl somewhere. Yeah, it's whatever bowl game Auburn would actually get to would be uh, probably pretty pitiful. But at this point, just getting a W over Alabama would be that would be pretty sweet. That would make all this pain not go away, but it would make it much more tolerable. So
Yeah.
sorry about my rant, but
No, 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 no. It's a
Auburn
good
fans
rant.
are passionate about these particular moments, and there have been moments in the past where we've played spoiler to Alabama, so it can happen.
It
So
it can happen. It should happen. I
it
believe.
might happen.
Yeah.
Um, and Kalen DeBoer, what's he going to do if he can't beat Bama or if he can't beat Auburn, and then he ends up having another season where he's lost 3 games and
Where he
missing the
misses out on the
playoff?
playoffs.
That's problematic if you are an Alabama purist. So. hmm.
Oh, one can only hope. Um,
I don't even wish ill will on Alabama, but I do want them to lose. So I guess that is ill will. So
like they've had their time in the sun. They've
yeah.
had the two best coaches in college football history let somebody else win for a change.
Yeah,
Um,
let Ole Miss take a shot. Although Ole Miss is taking other shots, but we'll get to that.
yeah. Um,
I
Texas,
don't want to see Georgia, um, but we might. So
yeah. G Georgia just embarrassed Texas. Um,
they put the hurt on Texas, and Texas, how they're still in any kind of conversation of relevance is pitiful. So,
r- right. Once again, Texas overinflated at number 10.
oh yeah,
Um,
100%.
Georgia beats them
They
35-10,
lost to the Florida Gators, dude.
right?
If you're not
Um,
if you're not fully aware of how bad Florida is this year, then I can't help you because
uh,
everybody knows
and they surprisingly had a good first half against Ole Miss.
they did.
And we're leading at halftime
Yeah,
24-20.
that was a common theme as we touched on pre-recording this podcast is we did see a lot of underdog teams kind of having that really good first half and then not being able to seal the deal in the fourth quarter, with the
Yeah.
exception of Oklahoma.
Yeah. I mean, South Carolina was leading 30-3. Um, Oklahoma had a tight one with Alabama leading 17-14.
Yeah.
Um, and
Okay,
then
so maybe it was just Florida and South Carolina. So,
well,
but
well, no,
yeah,
um,
I
but
don't
but
know
but
what the halftime score was for Arkansas and LSU. Sorry.
yeah, tight games at halftime.
Yeah.
Florida
But
leading.
LSU only beat Arkansas by one, by the way. So, but I didn't see the halftime score. So,
Yeah. Um, Florida was leading 24-20 at halftime and then
okay,
couldn't
LSU was
couldn't score
beating
another
Arkansas at
point.
halftime
LSU was leading Arkansas by
by
2,
two. Yeah, at halftime.
16-14 at
Yeah.
halftime. And man, was I pulling for the Razorbacks to win.
They only
Um,
lost by one.
and they
So,
lost by one.
yeah,
Like,
that's
come on,
pain.
let's get them in SEC win.
I know. I know.
That
I
would have
know.
been great. And that was in Baton Rouge. Um,
That would have been an epic victory for Arkansas. They needed that.
uh, Kentucky.
Who's Arkansas got left? Do we know?
That's a good question.
I would imagine they have one more SEC game left.
Well, because they play Louisville at the end of the season.
Uh, does Arkansas play Louisville? I don't. Let's
Oh,
take a
sorry,
look.
Arkansas. Clicked on Kentucky.
I'm just looking at. Okay, they have. It looks like their last game is Missouri. Um, they've still got a shot to. They play Texas too, so they've got two more SEC games. So they can potentially win one of those and not be
Beat
um
Texas.
the
Come
complete
on, beat
bottom
Texas.
dwellers. But dude, they've had a killer year. Man, it's rough to be. Shoot, we were talking about South Carolina. It's rough to be an Arkansas fan.
Yeah.
This is bad. This is real bad. Yeah. Any we're not really talking about Arkansas yet. We'll come back to them.
Well, no, I mean we are. It was that was heartbreaking to see. Because they were leading there in the fourth quarter, and LSU scores a late touchdown. Um,
So my question to you, which we can't do anything about their LSU loss. It is what it is. We know they're going to play Texas. We know they're going to play Missouri. If you're an Arkansas fan, what coach could you hire that's realistic that would make you feel better? And when I say realistic, we know someone like Lane Kiffin's not realistic. So, you're not getting Eli Drinkwitz from Missouri.
right. Um,
That's a
you gotta
tough
get
one, isn't
Brian
it?
Kelly. I kid. Um,
Okay. I know there's people that are down on Brian Kelly, and maybe that's fair. I don't know him personally, but good
he
Lord, you could hire a lot worse.
yeah,
Shoot, he was winning at LSU. Why not?
he still went. He has still won a
You think
lot of games.
Arkansas is kind of dumb if they don't talk to Brian Kelly? And Brian Kelly, it's not like he's got anything lined up. He's got all that money. He could take that Arkansas job if he really wanted to.
Yeah. Um, what worst things could happen?
You
Uh,
know, I never even considered Brian Kelly for Arkansas till you said that, but that would make a lot of sense actually.
I mean, I wonder what SEC teams would take a chance on him again. And
Well, you'd be dumb and Arkansas would be foolish not to at least talk to him, I would think, if he's willing to talk to him, and he'd be kind of ridiculous to not be willing.
yeah. Okay, so
Um,
here's a question for you.
they're not getting Rhett Lashley. He's at SMU. Uh, I'm not sure. They're definitely. Oh, here's something funny. Some people are suggesting Billy Napier to Arkansas. Ooh, can imagine that. Yuck.
I think I'd rather have Brian Kelly.
There is zero chance Arkansas would hire Billy Napier. There's no way. If they did that, that would be one of the dumbest things ever. I think uh I think Brian Kelly would make sense. They're saying Alex Golesh from USF. If I think Alex Golesh could probably get a better job though, to be honest. He might get the FSU job if it comes open.
Yeah, very true.
Because
That'd be
they might not be able to get like the slam dunk hire, so they might go for Alex Golesh.
yeah.
And shoot, that's a home run for Alex. Go to Florida State. You know, you can win at Florida State.
So speaking of coaching searches, I know um I know LSU sent a plane to take Kiffin's family to tour Baton Rouge. Apparently Kiffin's ex-wife went and toured um
University of Florida.
was it Florida?
Yeah.
Um
Well, I know one family member, and I'm assuming it was his wife, went to Gainesville, and then there was other family members that went to Baton Rouge. So, and
well, I found it interesting that they flew whoever it was flew his ex-wife. Um
oh, maybe it was the ex. I mean, yeah, I
uh
can't keep up with all the who's who's in the Kiffin household or former Kiffin household.
yeah. Um do you think Auburn's making a push for Lane Kiffin?
Um, I mean, I think plenty of Auburn fans will be happy to have Lane Kiffin. I don't know that he's the priority given the circumstances, but dude, you never know. My
I
initial gut instinct is no,
I
but
I
that
know
but
and
I think it's only no because he turned us down before. Maybe there's something. If this all plays out and then he becomes Auburn's coach, I would be really surprised. I'd be happy, but I'd be really surprised.
so I mean I don't know. And
Would
maybe
you
I
would
just
you go to why go to Auburn if you can go to LSU or Florida? I know there's some crazy stuff going on there at both those schools, but shoot,
I
I don't. Oof.
that's I think that's why.
Yeah,
If I'm looking
I'm
at
not
it,
sure I'm buying that to be honest.
if I'm looking at it, I I mean,
I know there's some messy stuff going on, but I think you got a chance to go to LSU, you got to do it. Um, you got a chance to go to Florida, you got to do it. So that's tough, man. It's nice to be the belle of the ball, right? What a
yeah,
great problem to have. Well, I got to pick between LSU and Florida.
LSU's got a new AD.
I think I'm picking, as nasty as it is at LSU, I think I'm picking LSU because LSU doesn't really have anybody to recruit against in Louisiana.
True.
Where
Um,
Florida's got, several schools and the whole country coming in Florida. So, but
Florida's
Florida's
just
ripe for recruiting, but so
Florida's
is
just a hot
Louisiana.
mess.
So,
LSU, you've got a bit of a mess and a new athletic director. Um,
well, at
uh,
Auburn, you're Alabama's little brother, so to speak. So, you
yeah,
know,
I there's that, and the boosters have really done Auburn wrong.
well, that's
Uh,
in the past. I don't believe that's the case now. I think people, the boosters, the staff at Auburn, I think they're aligned more than they've been in the past. And that
and
that I think is a good position for whoever comes in next. So,
I mean, I feel like uh if I'm looking at rosters, I feel pretty good about Auburn's roster. You just need somebody who can come in and develop a quarterback
Yeah.
like
Well,
Lane
and there's
Kiffin
going
could
to be
do.
some turnover because we're overpaying some guys right now that we could go get somebody in the portal that'd be just as good and pay half or less. And
Yeah,
um, with the production we've had, you can't justify the spending that Auburn spent this year on this roster. There's going to be some people that leave, and at this point, I was earlier in the season I would have been bitter about that, but at this point, I think you know what, everybody's replaceable to a degree.
yeah,
I don't think you can replace Cam Coleman. There's one or two, defensive guys that I don't want going anywhere, but other than that, I think, man, you can find guys, you can find dudes,
yeah,
and we've proven it. And you got Will Redmond looking at, yeah, as long as you can keep Will Redmond, I'd say keep Will Redmond over some of the players, to be honest.
and I
Because,
wonder who makes that decision.
well, I think it depends on when they hire the new coach. You're right. That's a tough one. I think there's going to be players who they're going to be given the opportunity to stay at Auburn, but they're going to have to make less money, and then you're going to see people make a tough decision. Do I love
Yeah,
Auburn enough to really take this pay cut this season? Um, and you could really blame some of that on Hugh Freeze and say, well, especially if your offense, you're like, well, I didn't, get the opportunities because Hugh Freeze was, screwed up the offense or whatever.
yeah,
Um, so I can see how some players would be bitter about that, and then the less pay would be insulting, and then they'd hit the portal, and at this point, I would say good riddance for whoever acts that way because you know you're gonna get you can go in the portal and you can pick up that kid from I'm just throwing out a random school. You can pick up that pick up that kid from Tulane, or you can pick up that kid from South Florida or wherever, James Madison or whatever. And all of a sudden, you got guys, that are ready to rock for next year.
yeah.
So I
Okay, here,
just,
here's something else I just thought about. There are rumors, I don't know how true they are. Sarkeesian may make the jump to the NFL. Um,
well, that'd put an interesting,
wouldn't that be an interesting twist? Because that would be late. That
well, yeah, there's a lot of what ifs if that happens. I think could see a lot of turnover at Texas, and you could see Arch Manning might even leave if that happened. Um,
Yeah, but because the reason he went to Texas and stayed at Texas, even when he wasn't getting playing time, was because he wanted to be developed by Sark.
Man, if I'm Sark, I don't think I'd do that this season. But that's his call. So,
I mean, you're also feeling the heat at Texas.
well, yes and no. I mean, Arch is what? I mean, it's his first year, and yeah, you still have a decent team. You've lost a couple games, and that's not what any Texas fan wants. But you're still a good team, and good enough. I don't know, man. If I'm Sark, I think Sark could probably stay at Texas for a while if he, well, maybe not, but
Well, yeah, I think it's just,
I mean, we've seen college football coaches have losing seasons or not the best seasons in college and then still be able to go pro and be a coach.
yeah.
One name
Ki-
is slipping my mind, but it was the guy that was at Texas Tech and went to Arizona. Do you remember his name?
I don't.
Uh,
Um,
Not a big
oh,
deal.
um, Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury, yeah. Well, I mean, he's a good example of that. I mean,
So,
he did not have amazing seasons at Texas Tech, but he went on to an NFL role. So, like, wouldn't
and I
Sarkisian
mean,
still have that option? Is my thought.
yeah, it's two different managerial styles because
Right.
in the NFL, you focus on the locker room and your X's and O's, creating mismatches um, on the field. Whereas in college, you're having to do that. You're having to recruit. Um, you're having to manage a roster more by yourself than in the NFL, where you've got somebody who is really trying to manage the roster, um, and help you manage the roster in a true GM fashion. Um,
I
and you see guys like um, Nick Saban go to the NFL and struggle because in college you can dictate where these kids are because they're either in
well, you
class.
could in the past. It's less so now, I think.
Well, it's they're either in class or they're in the facility, and they spend so little time at home. Whereas in the NFL, they get done with their workouts, they get done with practice, and they go home and they're getting paid even more insane amounts of money than they are in college. Um, it's just it's harder to kind of control every aspect. I In high school we had a football coach who wanted every guy in the school, and it was a small school. He wanted every guy playing football because that way he knows where the kids are from 7 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. Um, and then they got to go home and do homework, and there's not a lot of time to get in trouble. Um, I feel like in a lot of ways, your Nick Sabans of the world prefer that. They prefer to know exactly where their guys are to keep them out of trouble, and you can't do that in the NFL. You can't have the same influence over the kids. And again, like you said, this is kind of why Nick Saban retired. Is he didn't have that same amount of control. Um, but it'd be interesting to see Sark and his offensive abilities, how that translates into the NFL, um, trying to create those matchups and mismatches. Just something to throw out there as we get ready for uh football talk around the Thanksgiving table. Um,
Yeah, these are things to ponder.
um, Two more scores. Kentucky really finding success as Bowley kind of settles in as QB1. They roll over the then 10-0 Texas Tech. Uh, what are they? The Owls? It
And
gold.
now Kentucky has a chance to really redeem themselves in a sense. They've got Vanderbilt, they've got Louisville. You win one of those games, you're going bowling.
Yep.
You know, it looked like when they had that four loss stretch, it looked like they were done and they were pulling an Arkansas.
Yep.
So yeah, despite their obnoxious field and your uh, intense hatred for that obnoxious field,
I I think
I'm quietly low key rooting for the Wildcats these next two
well
weeks.
I'm trying to
So.
think. Do I hate Kroger Field more than I hate the Florida Gators? I might. Um,
Well,
but
I can answer that. I don't. But I'm married to a Florida Gator, so I have to tread lightly. So
and
truthfully,
I
Florida's not so terrible. They're not obnoxious like they used to be. Like,
yeah.
we just you remember how they used to be. It was so bad. Everybody hated the Gators. You know, I did,
Oh yeah.
but I don't hate them now. So
Well, yeah, you've got good reason not to hate them.
that's true.
Um I forever have burned in my memory Steve Spurrier saying you can't spell Citrus Bowl without UT. Um,
That's that's a bad joke, but it's kind of funny
it no it
if you're not a Tennessee fan.
in the problem with Spurrier's um
Spurrier talks trash about a lot of people, by
he
the
talks
way.
trash and then
He talks trash about Arch Manning.
he would
Uh,
back it up. Oh yeah. I mean, he's still to this day he doesn't know any other way. Um by the way, apologies to your friend and mine, Corbin's dad, for uh
Chester. Yeah.
who 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 was on staff at Tennessee Tech for a long time.
Mm.
Um and me blanking that it's the Golden Eagles. I, I was watching the
I don't know if there's any love loss with Chester and Tennessee Tech. Maybe,
yeah,
uh, but
uh,
I don't think there is. So I think you've gotten a pass there,
uh,
buddy.
uh, hopefully.
So
But
for those listeners that don't know, Chester is a dear friend of ours. There's was a long tenured professor at Tennessee Tech who is no longer there, and he's probably much happier for it.
yeah,
Moving on.
yeah.
So
And I got confused with the Owls because my Tennessee Vols um uh were taking on the Rice Owls in
ah.
basketball, and
Oh, there has been some Rice football news, by the way. Not that we are promoting Rice, but yeah,
le- le-
they're doing some stadium renovations, and but long story short, they're investing more heavily in their football program, and I think that's a good thing.
that it's always a good thing.
Yeah, that stadium they've had is super ancient. It needs some new life, and so they're going to kind of do what Vanderbilt has done, kind of create their own version of what Vanderbilt's done with their stadium. And
Vanderbilt's done
maybe
some.
you can explain that better than I could. I don't know the history of Vanderbilt Stadium, but I know when I went to Vanderbilt Stadium last week, it was nice.
No,
So
it has gotten a whole lot better. I do want to go see a game in the newly renovated stadium.
yeah, I hope you
Um,
do. It's good. I had a good experience there. I really did.
it
I didn't like the outcome, but I had a good experience at their stadium.
I
So
mean, for the longest time, I feel like it's been a glorified high school stadium. Um,
it's not a big stadium. You're right.
it's not big, and it's a lot of, um,
Now, there
just
are much bigger high
interesting.
school stadiums in Texas. I'll put it that way. You've lived in Waco, you know.
Yes, it is. It is a different animal out there. Um, by the way, the last SEC game of the week, Missouri just rolled over Mississippi State, 49-27. Um,
And that's okay. Beating Mississippi State, good for them. It's no secret you and I are kind of low key, hoping to see Mississippi State, not be a doormat.
absolutely.
And it's not that we have ties, but I think that it's very interesting that Eli has that result. Eli Drinkowitz, the coach of Missouri, has that result coming after his comments of saying, we got to stop worrying about making the playoffs. Like, even if you don't make the playoffs, doesn't mean you don't have a good season, which I do agree with. But it's kind of that's typically what a coach would say when they're losing, and they puts the hurt on he puts the hurt on Mississippi State. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Looking forward. The most expensive ticket in the SEC this weekend,
Mm.
the mighty Sanford Bulldogs, 1-10 at 10-0 Texas A&M, $125.
Yeah, so I don't think it's the team. I think it's Texas A&M
No,
is
it's
a 10
probably
win, 10 wins, and yeah, they are loving their team and they want to go see them uh while they can. Everybody wants to get in on the Texas A&M bandwagon.
yeah.
If you're in that part of anywhere near driving distance of College Station, Texas, so
Well,
good for
and I think
you.
it's
Yeah, good
probably
for Texas
homecoming.
A&M. Oh,
It
homecoming. Okay, well that makes sense.
so that's gonna boost your
Yeah,
ticket price
Texas
a little bit.
A&M's a massive, massive school, so their alumni base is got to be massive as well.
Gig
So,
'em. Um,
mhm.
I
125 bucks a ticket to see Sanford. That's an easy no for me. Um,
just I'm
yeah.
surprised you can get a $35 ticket for Missouri at Oklahoma.
Well, that's a good game.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right. 35 bucks. That feels like I have said this, I'm gonna say it again. There's not a lot to do in Norman, Oklahoma. So for $35, that's worth it. You should even if you're in the nosebleeds, that's a good game to go to.
Yeah,
So
63 bucks to see Charlotte travel to Georgia.
that seems high.
Right? When you consider that Eastern Illinois at Alabama, $13.
Why is Alabama playing Eastern Illinois? Come on.
Because Alabama needs cupcake wins to pad their
Well,
record, just like
I
Notre
can't
Dame.
I can't talk because Auburn's playing Mercer, which is although Mercer is a good FCS team, by the way.
Hey, but
So
th that's no slouch. Tickets are starting at $25.
they are almost double the price of an Alabama Eastern Illinois ticket. So I'm
Exactly.
moderately
Uh,
proud of that about yep.
for a hair less than $100, you can go see Arkansas take on Texas in
You
Austin.
know, that's an old uh a Southwest Conference rivalry. Is
Yes.
Texas and Arkansas. So there's a little bit of history there and that's
That
pretty cool actually.
that is one of the
Yeah.
rivalries that I was excited when Texas was announced to come to the SEC. I was like, renew that Arkansas Texas rivalry. Um, $62 gets you to see the SEC Nation game of the week, Kentucky at Vanderbilt.
This
Uh,
is your chance to go to Vanderbilt.
yeah,
It's an afternoon game, nice and cool in Vanderbilt in Nashville right now. I don't know, man.
it may be rainy on Saturday
Oh, if it's
though.
rainy, you shouldn't
Yeah,
go. But if it's a beautiful day, I don't know, man. That's a cheap ticket, $62. That you can almost stomach that.
yeah.
You might even get a free one. You got people in the know. So
I, I know people who
you have
would
colleagues, you
yes,
know.
who would buy. I know people who would buy Vanderbilt season tickets because you could get them dirt cheap. I want to say $250.
Man, those
Um,
days are gonna go away though.
and
I don't
and
think
then
that's
and
stay.
then
That, now,
they would
it,
sell one or two of them and pay for the rest of it.
Oh, there are rumors, by the way, that Clark Lee is a potential candidate for Auburn. By the way,
I think it's going to be
I
hard
don't
to
think
pull
that'll
Barkley
happen.
away from Vanderbilt for a while.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think that's going to happen. By the way, but I am saying I've heard rumors of Clark Lee being on the list. So,
I mean, you just keep throwing money at it to see what happens.
but my problem with Clark Lee is outside of Diego Pavia, I'm not sure what he's capable of yet. That's the truth.
Well, yeah, let's see what he can go get at quarterback.
Well, he's in a good position, that's for sure. So,
Um, South Carolina host Coastal Carolina.
hey, there you go. That's two South Carolina schools.
Yeah,
$28. And
Coastal,
yeah, that you know what? That's not a bad game to go to if you're
yeah. 6-4
in the
Coastal
area.
Carolina.
Yes, 28 bucks. Go see South Carolina get a win.
Yeah.
I think
Um,
that's a good thing.
Tennessee at Florida, $62.
Now, let's talk about that because I was originally going to go to this game and I've kind of, seeing the fall of Florida throughout the season, I kind of lost that motivation to be at that game.
Makes
Um,
sense.
But recently, there was I'm a veteran, not trying to be too
By the
obnoxious
way,
about
happy
that.
belated Veterans Day.
Thank you. And there is a site called vettix.org. And if you're a veteran, you're not signed up for vettix.org, you should, because wherever you live, there's tickets that are donated that are unused, unwanted, whatever's going on. And so it is not uncommon to see cool opportunities such as Tennessee at Florida all of a sudden pop up because Florida's not, the winning team, not having the great season where all of a sudden you could go see Tennessee and Florida as a veteran, um, just because you put in to a, thing. You don't even really have to pay for the ticket. I think there's like a fee for a handling fee, which is, a couple bucks.
Yeah.
It's nothing. And you potentially get free tickets that way. So it's if I see Tennessee and Florida tickets come up on VetTix and I can get them, I don't know. There's a chance I might go to that game. So
That is a really cool plug. By the way, I did think of
it is a
you.
good plug. If there's veterans listening and you're not part of VetTix, please consider checking them out. They're awesome. So
Absolutely. I did think of you at the Titans game this weekend. Not just
I'm
because the score
sorry.
just not just because the score at one point was 7-6 and the PA announcer came on and said, "Hey kids, uh just to let you know that
6'7".
yeah,
Yep.
the score is now 6-7." And my 6-year-old got up and started dancing.
Six,
Um
seven.
yeah.
That's terrible.
No,
Yeah.
He loved it. Took my
No,
kids
that's good parenting and maybe bad parenting too at the same time. So
took my kids to their first Titans game. The 6-year-old loved it. The four year
for
old,
that reason alone,
yeah, the
it's like
4 year
that's
old
like
did
just the
not want to look
greatest
up.
Tennessee game ever. So.
Um, my 6-year old I've brainwashed, and now he loves watching sports with me.
So the Tennessee Titans Stadium, um, it's obviously they got the new thing right next to it going
Yeah.
on. What's all that? Because I drove by it and I was like, it's a kind of an eyesore. It's I guess the
Well, which one's
future.
the eyesore?
Well, they kind of both are at this point. Like you got the old stadium and then you got
So
the
I,
new one that's still obviously they're working on. It's
yeah.
not finished.
Um, I, I honestly don't see what the issue is with the old one, other than,
I never thought it was that bad. I've been to a game there and
yeah.
I didn't
I
think it
mean,
was, I
I've
thought
been
it
to a
was
bunch of games there, and
decent. Yeah.
and um, first of all, um, it needs to be called the Coliseum again. It was originally Adelphia Coliseum. At some when
This was before they even had the Titans. Is that right?
No, because
So that stadium got built when the
they
Titans
got
moved
built for the
to
Titans.
Nashville.
So the
Okay. I
home of the
didn't know
Titans
that.
was the
Okay.
Coliseum.
How many
It was
years have they been in Nashville
cute.
now?
99 was
Oh, that's a long time. So that's 20.
their
Yeah.
first season as the Titans was the season they went to the Super Bowl. Um,
That was wild.
in 98, if I have
Yeah. I'm
my
sure Houston loved that.
so Houston didn't want to build a new stadium. So Bud
Yeah.
Adams moved the team to Nashville.
Yeah.
They spent, I think, 2 seasons in Memphis and then moved to Nashville
Oh
and spent a
Lord. They played
season.
at that University of Memphis, the whatever bowl that
Yeah,
is. Oh,
yeah, Liberty
that
Bowl.
must have been brutal.
The team was no good. Then
Whew.
they played a season at Vanderbilt, and then they finished the stadium.
Oof.
Um,
At Vanderbilt's old Crusty Stadium.
yeah, uh,
Wow. I didn't realize, man, my history of the Oilers and the Tennessee Titans is not very good.
yeah.
I
So
didn't
the thing
I didn't
now
know about
is,
these things.
and we were playing the Houston Texans. There is no love lost between the Texans and the Titans, because when Bud Adams moved the team,
Yeah, that's when Houston all of a sudden, hey, we have it in our heart to build a
well,
new stadium for a new franchise.
he got to take the Oilers history with him. So the Houston
Oh, that's
Texans
right.
cannot wear Houston Oilers throwbacks.
Yes, that's right. And that's totally correct because Tennessee Titans sometimes have that Oiler
Yeah, the Tennessee
that
Oilers.
little logo somehow hidden in their Tennessee,
Yeah,
logo. It's kind of neat how they've done that in the past. I've seen that.
yeah. It and the color scheme works very well, because
Yeah, it's
where the
still the same, isn't it?
Oilers were light blue,
Yeah, I
um
remember that.
the Titans kept that light blue as an accent, um and then adopted the navy and red from the Tennessee state flag. Um
Yeah,
I
it's a
I
nice touch.
I
Yeah.
still prefer the primarily navy jerseys.
Hmm.
Um they have, for the last decade or more, they've worn more of the more Oiler blue, the light blue jerseys. It just doesn't seem as intimidating to me. I do understand early in the season, playing in the heat in September, October, the lighter jerseys make more sense. I also wish I have an alternate jersey, an alternate Eddie George jersey, um, hanging up behind me, just out of frame. Bright red with navy shoulders. The Titans have never worn these alternate uniforms, and I wish they would bring them back, because they are just a killer uniform. I wish they'd wear those. Um, but yeah, the Houston Texans have asked for the right to wear the Oilers throwbacks, but the um they don't get to keep the Oiler history. They kind of gave up on the Oilers, um and so they
There,
lost the
there,
Oiler history.
the possible one of the possible head coaches for the Tennessee Titans is Cliff Kingsbury, oddly enough, the offensive coordinator for now the Washington Commanders.
Uh
I can't call them the Commanders. The
yeah.
the football team in Washington.
Yeah, there you go. I don't, I don't think I'd hate it. They could do a lot worse. I'll say that.
Joe Brady is an option. Uh, Matt Nagy, am I saying that right? That's Kansas City's OC. Brian Flores, defensive coordinator for the Patriots, and Arthur
Steve
Smith.
Sarkisian.
They do not mention Steve Sarkisian, but wouldn't that be ironic? My goodness, that would be interesting. Arthur Smith, who's the offensive coordinator at the for the Steelers, is a possible
Arthur
hire
Smith.
for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah,
So,
Arthur Smith got the Atlanta job because of how well he did as OC with the Titans. Um, Mike Vrabel was firing Mike Vrabel was a mistake. Um,
so you think that was premature?
I do. I think
Mm.
the Titans had a bad roster. Um, they had just hired a new GM. He did not improve the roster. They felt that they couldn't fire this brand new GM, so they fire the coach, Mike Vrabel, and look what he's done in New England. Um, I think Robert Kraft probably trusts Vrabel a lot more than um, Amy Adams Strunk did. Uh, Mike Vrabel is a very smart football coach. He understands how to manipulate the rules to his own benefit. Um, Saw it multiple times. Uh, Most impressively, I believe it was Tom Brady's last regular season game as a New England Patriot. Um, uh, there at the end, the Patriots were about to score, and if they could have run out the clock, or run it down quite a bit. Mike Vrabel sends a 12th man in on defense, which stops the clock, um, gives the Patriots an automatic first down. They can no longer get a first down to run out the clock. Um, and then the Titans go on to win that game. Um, just very smart coach.
Yeah,
And I I think he was dealt a bad hand with injuries, with GMs, and we should have held on to him.
mm.
Um, Unfortunately. And now the Titans are just spiraling out of control in the driver's seat to have the number one pick in the draft in back to back years. Um, Go
Yeah,
Titans.
maybe that
But
could be a good thing.
the my 6 year old had a great time at the game this weekend because he had no idea. Uh,
Was that part of birthday gift or
no,
just to do or what?
um, 4 tickets came available,
Sweet.
and I said
Yeah.
I'd love to take my kids.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good choice.
and my 4 year old just protest pretty much all the time. We got him nachos, and he sat there with his head down, eating his nachos the whole time. We're at the club level, so we could go indoors. It was beautiful weather, by
Club
the way.
level. There you go.
So went indoors, had the game on the TVs. Um, he could move around a little bit. I think that's the biggest thing. He wants to run around. The
Yeah.
6 year old can sit there and watch the game, but uh Yeah, I would say midway through the third quarter, we started making our way towards the exit. We took our time. Um, they kind of want to walk around and see the stadium, so we probably left the stadium uh, about the time the fourth quarter started. Uh, there were already a bunch of people filing out at that point. Um, we were by no means the earliest to leave, uh, but um, it was it was a fun time. The family had a good time. So um, we'll my oldest has now been to a Predators game, a Titans game. Um, we'll see what else we can get in this year. Because he still says that his favorite sport is baseball. So that just tells me that I gotta get up to Knoxville for a baseball game sometime this spring. Uh,
For sure.
I
Shoot, I might even sneak up there and join you.
come on. Um, by the way, don't.
When does Auburn play?
Uh, we'll have to figure that out. By the
Yeah.
way, don't want to leave off this last game because for $6, you can see Western Kentucky, 8-2 Western Kentucky, go to 6-4 LSU. Um, by the way, it
How
is best
much?
$6,
$6? Dude, that's an easy yes.
less than a 10 spot.
Yeah,
Um,
man. You'll spend way more on that on beverage and hot dog. So
yeah. Um, let me run through these basketball scores because the SEC is winning
ah
most of their games.
yes. And by the way, before you do that, my Auburn Tigers played a heck of a game yesterday against Houston, number one team ranked in the nation, and they lost by 1 point. And it was such a good game. And I would have liked to have seen the outcome be different, but man, I was really proud of my
Yes,
Auburn men's basketball team. Uh,
Houston
they did a
is
great job. So
Houston deserves that number one ranking.
yeah, Houston's a very good team, for
Very, very
sure.
good.
Yeah. And they've
Uh
got these three freshmen that are just crazy good. But yeah, but keep an eye on Houston, man. They're good.
yeah. Um last week, I think we talked about some of these games. Tennessee over North Florida, South Carolina over Presbyterian, Vanderbilt over Eastern Kentucky, Missouri over Minnesota, Texas over Fairleigh Dickinson. What the heck?
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that an
that's not a
online
real
school?
that's not a real school. Um, Alabama falls to number two Purdue.
Yeah. And
Um,
Purdue's definitely a top ranked team. Alabama's a good team though, so don't
very good.
sleep on Alabama.
No,
Yep.
LSU over Florida International. Um, Kentucky over Eastern Illinois, Arkansas over Samford, Ole Miss over Cal State Bakersfield. A&M falls to UCF.
Dude, by the way, that game I'm a closet UCF fan, and
Absolutely.
seeing them beat A&M, who I have no ties to other than they're an SEC school, I was really proud of UCF and so proud that I've purchased tickets for my daughter and my nephews to go see the UCF Knights men's basketball team next week. The week of Thanksgiving, they're playing a nobody school. I can't even pronounce their name, and it's on a Wednesday night, and I'm going. So we're gonna go watch the UCF men's basketball team play at home
That is
against a
beautiful.
nobody team. But seeing them beat Texas A&M was like, you know what? I'm going. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go watch it. I got to see this squad. So
Georgia wins the basketball version of good old fashioned hate over Georgia Tech.
yes, and
I don't
Georgia
know.
Tech, I would think they usually do have a decent basketball team. So
Yeah.
that's a good
Um,
win for Georgia.
Texas over Kansas City. Is that
There
the
you go.
Royals or the Chiefs? I'm not sure.
I didn't know the Royals were playing basketball, but I'm sure that was fun to watch. So,
Vanderbilt over Arkansas Pine Bluff, Mississippi State over Southeast Louisiana, Nebraska um, beat Oklahoma. Nebraska seems like they have put together several wins here early in the season.
dude. Yeah. I don't think of Nebraska when I think of basketball, and I'm gonna have to check them out.
As you mentioned, Auburn falls to Houston by a point.
Ah,
Uh,
such a good game. Yeah.
Florida,
Disappointing outcome, but good game.
yeah,
So,
Florida beats Miami. Florida's only loss came to Arizona, first game of the season. Arizona is no slouch, by the
no,
way.
Arizona is a good team, and Florida's a good team too. Florida beat Florida State. Well, that was a fun game. I watched that. So,
Yeah. Then Tennessee beat Rice. Uh, Georgia beat Florida A&M, and Missouri beat Prairie View A&M.
hmm.
Those are the games in the last week. A lot of
Man, if you're not
SEC.
watching some college basketball, you got to do it. It's so much fun. There's some really good tournaments coming up, by the way, with the Thanksgiving and stuff. So
Yes.
you got the Maui Invitational coming up too. Yeah, good basketball coming up. So, make the time.
Tennessee is currently 4-0. They have a tournament coming up. They've got one more game to kind of warm up against Tennessee State. Then they take on Rutgers, Houston, Syracuse, and then I believe it's no, sorry, Rutgers, Houston, and then I believe there's a game after that. They're not sure who it's going to be. Um, but then they travel to Syracuse, home against number 8 Illinois, home versus number 6 Louisville. That's going to be a tough couple games in a row there in early mid December. Um, by the way, current ranked teams on Tennessee's schedule in the SEC: 21 Arkansas, 10 Florida, 12 Kentucky, 11 Alabama, 22 Auburn, 12 Kentucky again, and 11 Alabama again. Um, that seems to be about half the SEC games for Tennessee against ranked opponents. The SEC is no slouch in in basketball again this season. So buckle up because
Yeah,
um,
man, I love it.
third Saturday in March is
Are we
getting
really going to become the TSIO? Wait,
TSIM.
TSIM
No, but
podcast here in a couple of
it
weeks?
it
Okay.
it it's fun to think about.
Only on in us making light of it, but not for real.
Right.
So,
Um, no,
or
that
what if we just became the third Saturday in podcast,
hey, there you go.
the TSI pod,
Hey, I
because it's surpassed October.
yeah,
It's like you could say the third Saturday in
it's
whatever
it's
month, the baseball.
we cover every month except July and
Yeah, we,
August.
we take our time because summertime is family time.
Yeah,
We pay respect.
uh,
But
uh,
we're bringing you, the results, the water cooler chat of the SEC, and
absolutely.
you're welcome. So
Third Saturday is a lot easier to say than third Saturday in
maybe, yeah,
October.
maybe it's just the third Saturday podcast. So,
What about the
we'd
other
love to hear
Saturdays?
feedback on this.
That
We can't make any decisions unless there's adequate feedback.
right.
So.
I will take a straw poll and report back.
uh, you could take a rice poll. You could take. There's lots of polls you could take, but I like that you're doing straw. That's cool. So.
Um, I mean, it is election season, right? Um, uh,
Is it? Yeah, I don't know. Is
I
it?
T-
Yeah, I guess
Tennessee's
it
got,
is. Yeah.
Tennessee's got somebody retiring from Congress, so
Okay.
special election. I don't know.
I don't know of any upcoming elections in Florida, but now I'm going to check. So
Well, I mean,
I like to
election
vote.
days,
I should vote. I do vote. So I try not to miss any votes. So
same.
my civic duty. So
Um, my well, I guess election day is generally the first Tuesday in November.
right.
Um, which I was looking at my
Okay.
sample
Yeah. There's not
ballot.
any major elections for Florida until 2026. So I'm good.
Uh, yeah, most people, most people don't have it, but Tennessee's got a special election
Yeah.
due to a congressional seat coming
And yeah,
available.
listeners of this podcast may have to make a vote soon. So that could
Yes.
be fun.
Whole lot of sports. Um, it is hard to keep up, but we're doing the best we can. Um, and speaking of keeping up, you can keep up with us third Saturday in October.com at TSIO pod on Instagram, X, and Venmo if you want to support the show, or go to buymeacoffee.com/TSIO pod. Just share this show with a friend who likes football, basketball, baseball's right around the corner,
Or just
anything
enjoys
SEC
witty
sports.
sports, college sports banter. So
Yes. There's quite a bit of banter. Uh,
sometimes that's all we have.
we
So
we only have a few more weeks of the regular season and then a
then
playoff
it's all in on
bowl season.
basketball. Yeah, we're going to talk playoffs, but then, we'll be a couple months of basketball, and that'll be fun too.
I would love a bowl in the state of Florida. Um,
Hmm. There's
that's
some reasonable ones. One not the Citrus Bowl, I'm assuming.
uh, I the Citrus Bowl has expanded and took away Tinker Field, which is a baseball field right next to the Citrus Bowl, where I have played a handful of baseball games in my youth.
Ah, I was not aware of this.
Biggest
Okay.
outfield I ever played on.
Nice.
It was quite a large field
You
and
know
played.
what? Yeah, that reminds me. There used to be a minor league team in Orlando years ago, and I remember that team. But
Yeah.
I think they were like an Astros farm team. But anyway,
Um,
I digress.
but I did play against two uh future MLB players. One, the pitcher I don't think did a whole lot. The the first baseman and DH, Billy Butler, played for a long time in the majors, uh, over 10 years.
Huh.
Um,
Okay, so the Orlando Twins played at Tinker Field in downtown Orlando in the
yeah,
late 80s. They were a Class A affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. No surprise there. So I was wrong. They were not with Houston, but I do remember that team. So,
yeah, that it was a cool field. It was um previously it was a spring training field for I want to say the Yankees. Um, but there were some greats that played there and like true dugout below the playing surface, um, locker rooms back behind them. Uh,
yeah,
it was a fun
there
time.
there's there's still hope in Orlando that they can get a team, a major league team. There was some chatter at one point, they might get the Rays. I don't know if how likely that is now, but um
I mean that kind of makes a
yeah,
lot of sense.
there's people that really believe that Orlando could be a premier location for a major league baseball team. So
Yeah, let's make it happen.
don't know that the Miami team is doing that great. So maybe they end up moving up to Orlando. I don't know.
Yeah, bring the Marlins on up. Um,
I'm telling you, man, nobody goes to the Marlins. Nobody. But when you have like the international baseball tournament, the one where all the countries play each other, I don't even remember what that's called.
the
Uh,
World Baseball
the
Classic.
World Baseball Classic. Thank you, Bradley, and shame on me for not knowing that.
It
That will
it's hard to
pack
keep
out.
up
That
with a
will
lot of baseball.
sell out that stadium. The Savannah Bananas will sell out that stadium, but you won't get anybody going to see the Miami Marlins during the regular season. It's wild. Nobody
My
cares.
how they've fallen. Josh Beckett and oh man, they're who's their other pitcher when they won the World Series?
Yes, and that
Um,
was a long time ago now.
it was a long time ago. That
Yeah.
that was a fun team to watch though.
Well, it's a nice stadium. It's a shame, really, because they do have a really good baseball stadium. So,
Mm. Um, I can't wait for baseball season. Hey,
yep, it'll be here soon enough.
yeah, heroes come in all sizes. Roll Vols.
War Eagle.
Tailgate, pancake, living room, pregame, burgers, ribs, chicken wings, chip and dip, pregame, scotch and a lot of IPA, Coca-Cola, pregame, slaying darts, cornhole, pregame. How you gonna watch?